Alright, Shalom, giving all praise unto Yabashi Masha Bashim Hakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. And honors your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And above our body are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Hakodash. Giving all praise unto Yabashi Masha Bashim Hakodash. So it's going to be a relatively quick video based on this topic of the so-called Mother's Day that we've got out here within the UK at the minute. And I always had a feeling it was pagan, and probably the apostles mentioned it in passing, or maybe they mentioned it and maybe they did a video on it, and I didn't pick up on the video on it in the past. But certainly, it's one of them things that is pagan, and you didn't really realize how pagan it was. I've got a little few articles here to go into the topic and maybe shed some light to a brother that's coming into the truth and show you how pagan this world is. Okay, how pagan the holidays that we have out here are. So I'm gonna start first and foremost with this. There's nothing incriminating there, is there? No, that's cool. Let's go to this one. All right. So I'm gonna start here with the Fox article, not the Fox article, but the how do I go back? How do I make it not? Okay, maybe if I reload it. Yeah, that's great. Right, so I'm going to start here with the Fox News article because, Fox really be twisting stories and this, that, and the third. But here they'll out and out tell you that this particular practice is pagan. So this is the history of it as of this article here. And then we'll go into the other article and we'll hit a couple precepts before I close out. It says, what is the history of Mother's Day? Find out how the Greeks and the Romans celebrated Mother's Day. So this ain't nothing to do with the scriptures. And within the Christian church, you have a day that's known as Mothering Sunday. All right. And that's not biblical either. So it says that Mother's Day, a staple holiday in an Easter too, which is celebrated within the Christian church, is not biblical. That's not biblical. This all goes back to Jake after the fall of the Edomite Roman Empire, and you had what was known as the Holy Roman Empire. You had Jake go up in there and they amalgamated the principles and the doctrine of the scriptures with the heathen doctrine. Because remember, a lot of our forefathers, their parents were heathens. A lot of our forefathers, we go into the scriptures, you find out that their parents were Greeks. There was Hellen. It was Hellenist. It was Hellen, right? It was Greek-speaking Judeans, right? It was all up into the practices, going all the way back onto the book of Maccabees, and how certain men were so wicked and they took part in the customs of the heathen, and they readily accepted the ways of the heathen. So you have a situation where Jake is ruling now. Council of Nicaea happens, and Jake amalgamated the doctrine, which they was all up into that doctrine. Okay, when you had Jake, pretty much the kingdom being translated onto Jake after the fall of the Roman Empire, and it became what was known as the Holy Roman Empire. And then the term of that particular time, which was about 1,000 years, as prophesied within the book of Revelations, the 20th chapter. That particular time became known as the Dark Ages, the Byzantine Empire. That whole period of time was a time when Jake came up into there. There was already Hellenized. Them Jakes that came up into them positions was already Hellenized, right? You had a stronghold going back from the time of the Maccabees up until the time Yahushua came on the scene. But a lot of them Jakes that was already Hellenized, right? Throughout the four corners of the known world back then, you had a lot of Jakes that was heavy into the Greek stuff, man. So the rise in the popularity of Christianity in them times, you had a need to amalgamate the Greco-Roman mythology with Christianity that became popular. So they basically took the scriptures, they took the things that you read from the scriptures, the manuscripts, the history and all of that, and they put this Greek spin to it. That's why you go into the Christian church today, you got women out there, handling flowers and or whatever, thinking it's some cute thing or it's a cute day, but it's a practice of the heathen. Mother's Day is a staple in the United States and has a rich history that dates back to the time of the ancient Greeks and Romans. The holidays is one of the biggest consumer spending days of the year and honors to those involved in motherhood. Who created Mother's Day? Mother's Day originated in the United States in the 20th century and was created by peace activist Anna Yavis in honor of her deceased mother. Okay, so continue here. 1907, Yavis hosted Mother's Day at St. Andrews, and you got the church there. Initially, Yavis campaigned to make Mother's Day an official holiday because of her own mother. Continuing on, Yavis supporters lobbied and elected officials to green light Mother's Day. So that's within the US. But I'm going to show you the article in a second that goes to show you that there is actually pagan origins to this particular day. Skipping down, is Mother's Day a pagan holiday? The pagan origins of Mother's Day dates back to the ancient Greeks during the early spring festivals that paid tribute to the maternal goddess, right? To the maternal goddess. In Greek mythology, a key figure was Rhea, wife of Cronus, who was the mother of various gods and goddesses. You see, so it's all pagan. In addition, the Romans worshipped Cybele, another female goddess, during their spring festival of Hilaria. The celebration took place nearly 250 years before Yahushua was born and occurred during the Eid. So because that they tried to link it with the mother of Yahushua. Now, when you read the scriptures, there's no precept that you could pull out and say, look, okay, you got to honor your mother, but there's no day where you take a whole day and you're supposed to bow down before your mother. You honor your parents, okay, to the best of your ability, because not all of us came from situations where, you and your parents are gonna have the best relationship. Hey, a lot of us came from a situation where your mother or the woman that raised you was Big Shirley, man. A lot of us come from that situation. Okay? A lot of us come from the situation where your mom was Big Shirley. Let's just be straight up and real about it. Okay? And within this society, because of the pagan heathenistic customs of the people, you got a situation where you're supposed to dedicate a whole day. Yeah, Yahushua wouldn't be pleased. It's celebrated by countries all over the world. However, in the United States, it's one of the most popular consumer spending days. So we already read that piece. Let's read this article here. The second one I got in the background. A look into the origins of Mother's Day. Why we shouldn't celebrate Mother's Day. Your mother and your Mother's Day. Right. So this is kind of probably gonna have a Christian type spin to it, I would imagine. Let's read. It's Mother's Day today in Mexico. It will be next Sunday here in the US, and all around the world, people are similarly celebrating Mother's Day. We all love our mothers, all right? Scripture says you're supposed to honor your mother. Skip down. Okay. Give me the history, man. Give me the history. According to historians, the first celebrations observed in honor of the mother was ancient Greek spring festivals dedicated to the goddess Rhea. The same thing we read. Now we double verified it. She was the wife and the sister to the god Cronus and the mother of Zeus. So these stories here, sometimes they have a little spin, sometimes they have a little twist, but fundamentally they all go back onto Ishtar, Nimrod, and Tammuz, which the scripture says that behold, I saw the women of Israel baking cakes to Tammuz, and that's where you get them little hot cross buns. I believe that's where you get them little hot cross buns, right? That's got nothing to do with the scriptures, man. Okay, that's all hedonistic. Not to say if you eat a hot cross bun, a brother's going off. That's not it. But the custom of Easter, the custom of Mother's Day, the custom of what other customs come to mind? Christmas. It's all pagan. Rhea is also known as the mother of gods and the goddess. Cronus was also one of the gods who devoured his kids in association with the Roman god Saturn, Satan. Okay, in the ancient Roman culture, Mother's Day was celebrated in the form of a festival dedication to the goddess Cybele, which we read a second ago. Right, so let's skip down. Let's see what the conclusions they come to, and we can close out the video. The festivities were held during the spring equinox. Remember, the clock is about to change in about 2 weeks' time, which is the spring equinox. In a temple erected in Cybele's honor. Right, you got all of the heathens, all the heathenistic deities here, all of the idols. That's the word I was looking for. Anything else we need to read from that? And as always, the Catholic Church, right, adopted the pagan Mother's Day celebration to honor the Virgin Mary, who they actually considered the Queen of Heaven. There we go, right? Amongst the Roman Catholicism, which when you go and you break down that word Roman Catholicism, right, and holic, as in Catholic, is the worship of all things, right? So that's why you have a lot of that pagan stuff that gets amalgamated into there. But I like that statement here. And as always, the Catholic Church adopted the pagan Mother's Day celebration to honor the Virgin Mary, right? Which virgin just meant young. We've been into that a whole bunch of times, where they actually considered the Queen of Heaven. So it's Queen of Heaven worship, right? It's idol worship, man. Okay, this ain't biblical, right? This ain't biblical. Now, should you honor your mother? Of course, you should honor your mother. course, you don't go home and say "F you, mom," this, that, and the third, right? But this ain't it, man. This ain't it. So, with that, I'm gonna say, "Oh, praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shabbat, Shema Kol HaKodesh, the bonus unto the apostles of great millstone, on your brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity." I'll check you on the next one. Shalom.